Sovele bumbene insimbi yesithupha nalomhla ekseni kungilesine Kusile maswahla amahle Kusile nebenkwazi kamahlokohla sanamukela nalomhla ekseni Kusile breakfast show hlelo ke langa lesine sasephetha nje liviki kusenje lisithuku lunye kuthi singene kumvela sonto sikhathi ke lasithabela kakhulu umphombene so lolwa unjani
ngasingithwa I'm good how are you this morning
ungasiwedwa vele
one day to go to the weekend
fair enough. No, ngiyaphila mne. I'm waking up in high spirits nalomuhla. I feel very blessed and highly favored.
Yeah, kunjalo ngibona sibonga umdali for that ukuthi siphilile silapha lomuhla again. Good morning to our viewers. Thank you for tuning in lomhla ekseni. This is Kusile breakfast show. Sisema ukuthi niphilile lomhla ekseni ukukhumbuza ukuthi sikhona na YouTube ungasibukela khona. Kunengithi niphathele kona lomuhla lilanga lelikhulu for the television industry. Today is World Television Day. Lelike lilanga lilabekwa ngumhla hlangene ngeminyaka wa 1996 kulandzela ukuthi kubanjwe iforum ye television yokuqala kuleyo mnyaka wa 1996. Sicubule nje salonyaka sithi connecting the world. Lesicubule lesi sichaza kakhulu ngenzima ledlalwa yi-TV ikakhulukazi ukuxhumanisa nje ama communities kanye nekwanzisa lwade. Namcebo Malinga lobeka ipresenter back in the day lapha kulomsakado kanye navusa igama Khumalo batachazela lobijona ngasilomhla ekseni batachazela ukuthi ku era yabo lokakatheni beyivame kanganani i-TV nekuthi say evolve kanganani nje njengokudokumela ukuthi nyalo bamvu labanengi sabasebenzisa ama tablets kanye nama laptops to watch their favorite shows ngekuthi bawa stream sabe sixoxisana nabo lomhla ekseni to stay tuned.
Yeah, it is a beautiful day and it is so glad to comments. Dinsabalete lesixoxa mihla yonke nanyalo nje sikumabona kude so lusukuvele silijabulela kakhulu. Outside of that, we are aware that in just a week it's going to be Black Friday. It is almost here, and you know what? The buzz around massive discounts and irresistible deals is already growing. In fact, it is already here. But beneath the allure of sales lies a trap that can quickly lead to overspending and financial regret. And it's very important to not spend recklessly around these times as we go into December, and you will have tight budgets as well as, you know, really planned budgets. But today we want to unpack smart shopping strategies to help you navigate this shopping frenzy with clarity as well as control. Joining us is going to be none other than Sadele Sbia, the economist, who is going to share with us invaluable insights into how consumer psychology, impulse buying, very important, impulse buying, as well as retail tactics often play a role in overspending. We want to discuss how to, first and foremost, make thoughtful decisions, set financial boundaries, as well as ensure that your spending aligns with your goals. Not kanzi Tombeni, so spend kweqala kheki lakho ngoba yathi kufika lo December ekhaya bakubuka emehlweni ukuthi ngabe wena uletha ini ekhaya kanjena sawuthenga emacici.
So it's too excited. Siyawecela ama boundaries lokhuluma ngawo nje mngoni, so ibalekile le interview lena sitawati ukuthi sithi container kanjani kuseta yona festive,
because believe it or not, the deals are already there. Sebaqalile bosale
and they're enticing, so very you will want to buy definitely. All right, let's kasanyela star when athlete hamba imbili kumaphepha ntsapho. All right, Staqala Sibonge Times of Eswatini leti hamba embili this Thursday. Leading headlines: 1.2 million emalangeni armed robbery. Teachers co-accused spilled the beans. That is a picture of Kumbuzile Nomcebo Ngambula, 42-year-old, who's the teacher who is accused of being involved in an armed robbery that saw 1.1 million in cash and cell phones stolen from an MTN shop. Kanti kuletinye leti hamba imbili lomhla Extend Times of Eswatini, widow fails to pay 8,000 Malangeni for son's kukonta, and she has been arrested. Questions why others not fined when children build houses on family premises. And again, Umpluma Widows Foundation, she committed no crime. Kukonda twice is unjustified. In other news, DPM's office reports surge in sodomy cases. Kanti kuletinye thamba imbili lavumisa folks slam EEC tariff hike, and they also cite poverty. Kanti kuletinye senators threaten to boycott over ICC fish tour.
The Midlalo Times of Eswatini, the big story ibuyile as Ingwenyama Cup sponsorship reaches 36 million emalangeni. Also kutalwandle kakulolo hlangothi lolo reflects increase of 3 million emalangeni overall compared to last 3 tournaments. 15 million emalangeni sponsorship will be allocated 5 million emalangeni annually. And the regional competition is scheduled to commence around December 7 to December 8. And about 50,000 emalangeni for cricket squad as they have jetted off for some of the important tournaments where they will be representing the Kingdom of Eswatini. Over 1 million emalangeni sports associations bus arrives. The 34-seater bus that will transport national sports associations for their international participations is said to have cost over 1 million emalangeni for NTT Toyota. Moripe passes away. Pretoria Kellys and Orlando Pirates legend Lucas Masterpieces Moripe has sadly passed away.
All right, moving on to the Eswatini Observer, leading headlines this Thursday. Proposed tariff hike in Lavumisa residents saying invest in local generation. Kuletinye Tamba Mbili, an update on the UNESCO drama. Minister lashes out at registrar. UNESCO's registrar's radio interview in which he blamed the government for institutions' dire financial situation irks Minister Owen Nxumalo. Vice Chancellor retracts comments. Kuletinye Tamba Mbili. Woman killed at Eswatini is my wife, kusho ex-principal. And Form 1 pupil raped by uncle. You can read more on page 2. And Bennett wants teachers' pension packages to be revised.
Eswatini Observer Sports, Sihlangwanda scrutiny, country a mockery. Senators are unhappy with issues surrounding local football, as many Emaswati are. And another story, Ngwenyama Cup starts next month, and Ngwenya core surrender birds. 2 foreign contractors gun for new stadium, new minibus for national sports associations, and direct target for EPL teams.
All right. Esqhubekela ku-Eswatini Daily News, Letamba Mbili, Minister Owen refutes claims of government non-payment to UNESWA, and the Prime Minister joins SADC leaders for extraordinary summit. Letamba Mbili, Eswatini champions fight against antimicrobial resistance.
Yeah, the Bilalo, Eswatini Daily News. The big story, Ngwenyama Cup returns with new innovation. The country's richest club tournament, Ngwenyama Cup, kicks off on December 7 to the 8th of December with the new sponsorship of 5 million emalangeni and women's football. On another story, ICC Men's T20 World Cup qualifier. The Honorable Minister for Sports, go make us proud. Those are his sentiment, Minister Nzima, to the golf team. On another story, ex-chief star explains TS Galaxy move.
Ngilitole tihamba embili 8 minutes after 6 sasosal khefu masinyane sibuye netindzaba tekucala.
I'm a very, 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 very happy customer.
I know.
Imali ebhizinisi ayidliwa wayidla utolala phansi.
Hayi ngimsebenzi yethu lesindako la ekhaya njengoba niyibona limihle nakangaka.
Ngiyakolosha, which is crocheting.
Ngiyakhicita ke noko kakhulu emsebenzini wethu ikhumba.
Ngenda kwegaba emaqiqi nekwegaba entsanyeni.
Ngilungisa emagedlela.
Hello, how are you? We are selling peanuts at 5. Thank you so much. Umdala kubusi. Pandi strat babe.
Satlamahle sitawujabulela nathi tindzaba teSiswati liphini landvunankhulu imphunga Kusile dladla le khuta ke kwenyuka kwelizinga lekunatfwa kwetshwala eveni intfo lebhebhetela kuhlukubetana liphini landvunankhulu belikhuluma ngesikhatsi livele embi kwelikomiti lelibuke kusebenta kwelihhovisi lalo endlini yetimphunga kuyawudzingidza umbiko wekusebenta kwalelihhovisi kulesigaba sesibili semnyaka wetimali 2024 kuya ku-2025.
Emalunga elikomiti lelibuke kusebenta kwelihhovisi leliphini landvunankhulu endlini yetimphunga alidumise kakhulu ilihhovisi la DPM ngekuyisukumela itulu indzaba yenhlalakahle yebantfu labakhubatekile.
Nalo ukukhulumela nje labakhubatekile kangaka ngoba vele uyakhanza ukuthi basalela ngemuva kakhulu. Sekungaba encourage ukuthi mhlawumbe nathi sitisha umthetho kungaba nezindlela lesingadenda ukuthi maybe mandate nje ngibekise ukuthi ngebuilding kube nale accessibility ngoba stawuthi yebo siyabakhuthaza abantu labakhubatekile ukuthi ababe part of the normal society kepha ukhanze ukuthi lama facilities akekho kahle abasakhona ifinyelela.
Mhlawumbe nga-2028 kulo mfutho longaka lo entiwa ngumhloswati ukhanze ukuthi labanye persons with disabilities mhlawumbe babe khona eParliament babe kusantana noma babe ngu4.
Itiko linayo yini statistics of all the different types of disabilities that we have in the country, because we're seeing strides laba kulaba labadzinga sign language, there is progress there, but lala manye letinye tinhlobo of disability dona
awu emaswati anele ngekuva ukuthi sesinyusile ilokhunje impahla aqhamuka ngetinkhawu. So lokhu kusenta ukuthi sike sakhokha futhi nasemsakazweni ukuthi ababuye babhalise. So babhalisa kukhulu ke ukuthi singathi sesibathethe bonke ngoba labanye babo babafihlile.
Indzaba yekuhlukubetana lesekwanzile eveni yintfo leyikhatsata kakhulu lelikomiti.
Buka ke lokuthi labanye basahlukubeta lomunye egameni lokuthi nale mithetho mhlawumbe indlela yashaywa basangayadi kahle.
Abuse of alcohol is very high in this country. Abuse of drugs, including insangu, it's too much. Le gender-based violence lenye sikhanze ukuthi kozwa ukuthi sekuzakwemne make kuzakwemne babe. Kuzakwemne singema girlfriend ne boyfriend siyanatha sibuye sishayine stereka. Gcine lo munye ahambile emhlabeni. This morning besilalela ku radio namlophulele bhuti wakhe basibhuti wakhe bekathabo. Kusho ukuthi ukhala mcansule ngayo wathi enough is enough. Unfortunately akufanele ukuthi athathe umthetho awufake esandleni sakhe.
DPM uphinze wabikana ngendzaba elikhaya labogogo emankayane ukuthi kukhona umuntu lomdzala loshile emhlabeni kanti ke lehhovisi lenesiqiniseko sekuthi ufihlwa ngesizotha. Kukhona ke nebantwana labangahloniphi lebe bagcinwe kuleli khaya lisebabiselwe emuva emakhaya. Umbiko uhlanganiswe ngeLinkedIn Gule naSimuva Shongwe naThemba Shabangu seParliament.
Hulumende uthi wenta konke lokusemandleni ukuthi labo labahlanyela timali tabo balahlekelwa ke bayasitakala. Liphini landvunankhulu imphunga Kusile dladla beyimelelwe indvuna yetinkhundla umhlonishwa Sikhumbuzo Dlamini emhlanganweni walabo lesebathatha umhlala phansi lawatiwa ngepensioners day lebelibanjelwe ke Amanzini Club.
Labo lesebathatha umhlala phansi labachamuka kuto tonke tinkalo telive babenele usuku lwabo lapho bakhulume kabanti ngesikhwama semhlala phansi tinkinga lababhekana nato nalokunye lokunyenti. Liphini landvunankhulu imphunga dladla lebeyimelelwe indvuna yetinkhundla umhlonishwa Sikhumbuzo Dlamini lithi hulumende uyayisebenta indzaba lefaka ekhatsi kulahlekelwa timali kwalabanengi lapho bebase bahlanyela khona timali bagadze indalo pheceleti ku-investor.
Hulumende khwala kwentako uyakusebenta vele nje khwala kucabanga ukuthi ingabe kwente kanjani la ekutheni labantu labadzala labanye labatfuke ba-investor kulama schemes lawa lagcina singahamba imali tawo kungaphinzeki ngalenye ilanga nalo sekwentekile-ke kubonakala indlela lokuthi ingabe kude indlela engenteka lokuthi vele manje mancinebeleke ngandlela thide usakusebenza ke uhulumende lokho and committed la ekutheni akubone ukuthi kuyenteka ngicine ngikuqinisekisa nje lokuthi bonke labathintekako uhulumende ufisile ukuthi bavele embu kwemthetho futhi uhulumende ufisile ukuthi going forward atihlolisise lama schemes laqhamukako sekathi atawutalisa imali ainvest asigcine ngekuxwayisa ke bona abantu labadzala ama-pensioners nalabanye nje labasaya khona lokuthi na utfole imali yakho lenengi cabangisisa uphindze futhi ubuke tindzawo letiphephile loko watibona tisebenta itolo nakuthandi bese-ke usuyakhona kufaka imali yakho lapho kungathi nje kufika bantfu lamuhla bathi bangema-investors bangakusita bese uyangena nawe ukhanze ukuthi ungena emgodzini longe ukhona kuphuma kuwo.
Mengameli we-Pensioners Association Elliot Mkhatshwa uthi bathokotile kuva ukuthi uhulumende unabo akabalahli uyayisebenta inzaba yabo ikakhulukati ekulahlekelwa imali.
Lokhu kuhlangana kwethu-ke lamuhla ngaloko sifuna kulungisa tonke letigwegwe letikhona. Phinde sibonge kakhulu lokho ukuthi size siluselebrate lolu suku lese lutawuhlala lukhona iminyaka yonke. Siyethemba ke ukuthi nalabatawulandzela ngemuva sebatawubona lokuthi lesikhwama sinebanikati baso.
Bekuke kuqala ke lo msebenzi uba khona kanti bahlele ukuthi usale uba khona njalo ngeminyaka bathe ke batawusekelana babambane lapho kuthi ngababambane khona ikakhulu etindzabeni letifaka tona timali. Etindzabeni ngengugiyani Msibi nginasethabile Mamba na Princess Mahlalela sisemanzini club.
Lihotela International Convention Center kubhekeke ukuthi liphele kwakhiwa ngenyanga yamabasa noma ke ngenyanga yenkhwekhweti eminyakeni lotako. Lokho kuvakele ngendvuna yetekuhlela umnotfo Dr. Tambo Gina ngesikhathi yachazela likomiti lelibuke kusebenta kwelitiko lakhe endlini yetimphunga. Likomiti likhombise kukhatsateka ngekwekuthi kude lelikwatiko ngekwekuthi kuhamba njani kwakhiwa kwaleli hotela.
I-ICC liqiniso ukuthi sesibheke ukuthi phela lapha ko-April May. The main reason kuye kuba bedele mali yokubhadala labo labasesayithini bese bayayekela kusebenza baphume bangasebenzi. Labanye baphuma ngaMay, labanye baphuma before bake beme bangasebenzi. Ngesikhathi bemile bangasebenzi kunye lokungeni kubabhadala. Ngoba balapha esayithini balethwe ngithi i-PNG itawuqhubeka babhadale. Roughly I believe about nabeme for inyanga minimum 10 million. Ukuthi bebemile basebenza. Kuhle ndawufika ukuthi le budget cash flow versus cash flow. Kuhle kumeka lokungasebenzi. Kude sizathu lesinye lesikhulu kakhulu lesingachaza ukuthi yini kungapheli lapha. Kuba khona ke lokunye lokwelama lokhu but number one in the money. Lokwelama lokhu i-ICC Convention Center nelihotela 5-star hotel naliqala kwakhiwa le orientation isakubeka kahle. Kwakuna 260 million for interior fit out and 250 million. Ngiyakhohlwa wathi ukuthi ngube 250 million, ngube 260 million. But combined about half a billion. Kwase kuyantshintshwa nga-2016 ukuthi le fit out interior fit out akusesiyo le modern besawuyenza seyi-classical. Sesidinga abantu from specialists kwi-interior decor and fit out bede kwanyalo nje mhla ka-12 bekupresenta labanye bendibid ukuthi kutaba malini ukuqeda i-5-star interior mhla Tuesday 26 I believe tabe presenta 2 more from overseas. Yini isiloko sithi abapresent laba bebakhona basinika imali yamafilimu kude nje live letakuvuma kunento esiyibona.
Litiko letemisebenti lemikhulu nekutfutsa seletsembise kuletsa iphalamende umtsetfo losakhankanywa lotawukhulisa inhlawulo yebantfu labephula umtsetfo wemgwaco kute-ke live litawukulwa nekwanza kwetingoti temgwaco. Indvuna ikuvete loku kulandzela kutsi likomiti lelibuke kusebenta kwaleli tiko endlini yetimphunga likhale kakhulu ngekwanza kwetingoti letigcina-ke tihambe nemphefumulo.
Timphunga tikhatsatekile ngekwanza kwetigodi temgwaco letigcina tihambe nemphefumulo eveni laKangwane. Loku kwetitsi kubangwa bantfu labashayela timotolo banatsile. Loku timphunga tikuvete ngesikhatsi indvuna yelitiko letekuthutsa sikhulu Ndlaluhlaza Ndwandwe sivele ngephambi kwelikomiti lelibuke kusebenta kwelitiko layo endlini yetimphunga.
Akusiso isikhathi sokuthi kukhule lama-fines ngoba phela ama-fines akakhulela ukuthi alayazi bani bani, akhulela ukuthi akuyekelwe lo tshwala bese ungena emgwacweni. Tingoti letikhona eveni tibangwa nemanzi amponjwana.
Nenkinga lenkulu lekutawufanele ukuthi sisukume sonke singemaswati kubuka indzaba yetingoti emgwacweni. Tingoti emgwacweni tibangelwa ungashayeli kahle, tibangelwa ungasebentisi kahle umgwaco. Sesivele sisetikwako besethemba ukuthi sitawube sikulethile nje eParliament kuwona lo mnyaka manje-ke sesishonelwe lilanga nangibuka.
Indvuna iphindze yachaza nangendzaba ye-pro-base kanye nekuthi endzabeni yemigwaco longu-500 kilometers lowamenyetelwa ingonyama kutsi utawufakwa litiyela. Indvuna ichazile kutsi indzaba lena sebayisebentile lesekumele nje kutsi umsebenti ucale nasekufike tona timali live lelitibolekile ebhange lekutfutfukisa e-Afrika.
Losesihlalweni singasho ukuthi lukhona luhlelo njengoba lesivumelwano sethu nabo sathi sakha imigwaco lengu-200 kilometers iminyaka lemithathu bese-ke lelandzelako lengu-12 sebatawe bachubeka bayi-maintaina le migwaco. Kungaba ukuthi kulandzelelwe lokho kuciniswe ikhona nje lengingayihamba ngakhanza kwekuthi bayilungisile bawaclearishile nama-drainage. Ungakhanza ukuthi ikhona leminye lokhanza ukuthi ayikemi kahle. Siyabonga embongeni sitawuchubeka sikumonitor dute lokho. Indzaba-ke yekungena kwetakhiwo eceleni kwemigwaco vele isihluphile kakhulu. Losesihlalweni kukhona nje la sike satama khona ukuthi sikhulumisane nalabanye sisebenzisa nomthetho impunga lebekusengawo. Bukhona lokulukhuni sibona ukuthi nyalo setafuna ukuthi sale sibambisana nebetemthetho ukuthi mhlambe vele sosukumele lo msebenzi ngoba lele kubona kwempunga vele siphila nako imihla nemalanga ukuthi masokhanza sakho semuntu nasofuna ukukhulisa umgwaco bese kuyamdulela uhulumende sekufanele abhadale.
Etindzabeni Eswatini TV nginglington Gule nginasimuva Shongwe naThemba Shabangu eParliamente.
Litiko letemfundvo selente isivumelwano sekubhadala tikoneti tenyuvesi yaKangwane kute kubuyele kusebenteke kuleya nyuvesi. Lokhu kuvetwe indvuna yetemfundvo umhlonishwa owenxumalo emhlanganweni nebetindzaba.
Letimali atisakhoni ukuthi kubhadalwe emanti kubhadalwe nabogesi. Uthanza kusho ke uhulumende ukuthi ukhulumile nalama service providers lokugezi nemanti benti undertaking ukuthi kusula nyalo kuya embili lama service providers atawubhadalwa kanjani. Sitawukhumbula ukuthi university bengakhoni ukuthi ivulwe ngokuthi emanti basavaliwe nagezi kude. Ungenile ke uhulumende kuleyo ndzaba wa-intervena emanti ke avuliwe. Lokho kwenteke ukuthi kukhulunyiswane nabase-university nelitiko kanye nabase-university. Njoba ngikhuluma nje namuhla 19 November tonke timali kude i-university legwenedwa tona. Nanamuhla nje iphumile lenye imali iyaya khona e-university. I-university ke iceliwe kusaseyente le cash flow insight tobonakala ukuthi isitakala kanjani.
Lisekela lemphathi wenyuvesi Professor Justice Thwala libonge kakhulu ukuthi litiko libasite lingenelele kuletikweneti.
Lokhunywa nguminister kuliqiniso. I-university inedikweneti ecishe iningi impela. Kubonakele ukuthi vele i-ministry salo ingena ekhathi isisida. So kwase kuyakhulunyiswa ke laba ka-water nebakagesi nebeswazimedi ukuthi leti kweleti tingabhadalwa kanjani. Kwagcina kuvunyelwe ukuthi akubhalwe isivumelwano iphindze ne-ministry ikhulumisane ne-Ministry of Finance kwakhishwa ke incwadi lesiciniseko ukuthi awubhadala tikweleti. Kungako nje i-university igcine ivulile abantwana bayafunda.
Kanti indvuna yona ithe itawumela umbiko welibandla lelakhethwa kubuka lisebente tindzaba tenyuvesi lelithi lihlose ukuthi ngenyanga letako libe selithulela ukuthi ingabe batholani khona-ke enyuvesi kutawuse kuyabonakala ukuthi basebenta njani kuya embili. Etindzabeni kubika Giyani Msibi na-Princess Mahlalela nasethabile Mamba sisembabane.
Lisekela lemphathi wenyuvesi yaseswatini Professor Justice Thwala lithi sebaqalile kubhadala 70 tenyuvesi uthi ke lokho lokudzinga kulungiswa bayakulungisa.
Lo ngikhuluma isemabhange seyicalile kungena. Laba hola bo FNB ingenile immediately ngoba sisebenzisa i-FNB but nje nabe bangayitholi namhlanje hamba mekusentaba ingenile but sethemba i-majority yabo badabe sebayithola imali kusasa ekuseni but nje labanye sebacalile uyithola nya. Sibonge kakhulu nale kukhuthateka kwendvuna lokuthi kugcine kwentekile lo. Besina intake ya April bantwana labaqala nga-April ngibo-ke labo bantwana bebayadile scholarship nasisaqala batifundisa bathi nabacedza ema-results abo itolo bese siyabarejista. Kepha-ke ngalokuthi kune-process ye-scholarship kwadzinga ukuthi nabo babuketwe uhulumende amhle wasuyababonela ukuthi nabo abasithole le scholarship. Kwase-ke loko kuba ngama-delays lapha ekutheni barejiste labantwana ngoba soloko kumele ukuthi kuphele le process yekunika le scholarship. Unqolo bese kubanga ukuthi sekudilana nalama-payments ama-allowances. Nabo abantwana baticelela lokuthi lokuvula lo mhla ka-9 August ekuthi u-early sitawubate nemali ekubhadala. I-university ngeke ya-extenda yini. Ngekubambisana-ke nahulumende ne-Ministry of Labour ne-Ministry of Education ne-Finance kwavumela shift. Ngithi ngenawubuka kahle kuregister sekuyashift konke sekuyashift nema-invoices kufika kwawo aphelela kahle after mhla ka-30 kuye naSeptember ngoba bese kubanga-ke kwanze ukuthi leti mali atiseneli kahle ngalokuthi nalama-invoices akapheleli nangala ama-allowances asengapheleli ngokuthi basarejista abantwana.
Libandla lelengamele imfundo lephakeme lapha eveni i-Ishek lithi ke litimisele kuvala umkhathi lokhona emfundweni lephakeme lewehlisa izinga lemfundo. Umphathi waka-Ishek Dr. Loretta Mkhonda ukuvete lokhu emhlanganweni netinhlangothi ezitahlukene. Lowo mhlangano ke lohlose ukuthuthukisa izinga lemfundo. Lo mhlangano bewubanjelwe at-the George ngalesithathu.
Kulandzela kukhala kwesive esibayeni ngelizinga letemfundvo kuthi lokho lokufundza abafundi etikolweni akubambisane nalokhu singephandle emisebentini lokugcine kubanga ukuthi abafundi bagcine bangakapholi imisebenti. Imvuna yelitiko letemfundvo umhlonishwa owenqumalo ithi iyaphokota kakhulu ngalomhlangano lotawuphuma nelikhambi ukuthi lizinga lemfundvo litfutfukiswa kanjani.
Eva esibayeni kukhulunywa ukuthi labantwana nabafundza baphuma lesikolweni lele bakufundzile akusiko lokufundwa ngale industry. Namhla ke sesiyabonga Dr. Dladla lokuthi sesiyacala siyabakhulumisa nalaba ema-professional bodies batosilekelela kuze kuthi na Ishek nakawenda lo msebenzi kukhanzakale ukuthi labantwana lokho labakufunako bakusheshe bacala phansi. So vele siyavumelana lokuthi lele bafuna kwenda kufuna bakucale bakwende basise phansi kuze kuthi ke bakhone ukuthi basebenze kahle.
Umphathi waka-Ishek Dr. Loretta Mkhonda uthi sivakele sikhalo setinkampani netinhlangano lekuthi bafundzi lokhu labaphuma nako etikolweni akusiko lokhu labakudingako.
Sikubone kukahle ukuthi sihlanganise laba baqashi industry sihlanganise nema-higher education institutions ukuthi sibukede ukuthi lokufundwa kuma-institutions kungikweni lokudingwa i-industry nekuthi uma kungesiko yini lokungentiwa ima-higher education institutions kude ukuthi ba-align ema-programs kanye lokudzingwa abacashi. So inqumbi lama-sectors lesiwamemile ukuthi atokucocisana nema-higher education institutions ukuthi ishoda kuphi in terms of lokukhiqitwa ngithi thina ema-higher education institutions. Kushoda kuphi nekuthi ngikuphi labakubuke ukuthi kutawudzingeka in the future. Sitove sitilungisela higher education.
Etindzabeni te-Eswatini TV, lobika-ko ngo-Princess Mahlalela, Anagiani Msibi, The George Kamanzini.
Bafundziswe kabanti base batfola tifiketi laba-17 belitiko letemisebenti lemikhulu nekutfutsa labahlola timotolo ekuthenini-ke tifanele yini kuba semgwacweni. Hansi-ke mabhalane lomkhulu kuleli tiko Thulani Mkhaliphi uthi lokuqeqeshwa kwaletisebenti kufike ngesikhathi lesikahle kakhulu lapho khona-ke sekusikhathi sabokhisimusi njengalokuthi bese tiba tinyenti timotolo letingakafaneli kuba semgwacweni.
Lokuqeqeshwa kwaletisebenti elitiko letemisebenti lemkhulu kanye nekutfutsa kwentiwe enyuvesi yelakuleli University of Eswatini ihlangosi letebusayensi kanye nemjiniyela.
There were 5 major pillars, the safe system approach. The first one, it's, you touched on them: safe road users, safe vehicles, safe speeds, safe roads, post-crash care.
Lapha lomkhulu etiko letemisebenti lemkhulu nekutfutsa Thulani Mkhaliphi uthi lokufundiswa kwalabahlola timotolo emgwacweni kungaba nemtselela omuhle ekunciphiseni inani letingoti letentakalako. Mkhaliphi uthi kumqokwa ukuthi leli tiko libuyele emgwacweni lakuleli lihlole timotolo. Ucubeka uthi isizathu salokhu ukuthi tingoti tinemtselela omubi emnothweni njengaloku uma ingoti yentekile kuphathamiseka tinyenti tinhlangothi.
We are saying to the trainees that have finished this program, go out there and leave a legacy.
Mabhalelo omkhulu etiko letisebenti embuso Sipho Thabethe umelele ngibhenginkosi Thabethe ukuthatha letisebenti kusathambe tisebenti engekudikhandla tishiye ligama lelihle uthi kumcokwa ukuthi tisebenti embuso tiboqeqesheke emsebentini yato ukuthi titonike emaswati lisito lelisoqophelweni lisetulu uthi letifiketi atisito nje kuphela liphepha kodwa ubufakazi bokuthi sebathole eceqesheka kulolu hlangothi.
The skills you have acquired are critical for Eswatini's ambition to achieve the vision of eradicating fatal road accidents by 2065.
Isikale mphathi wenyuvesi elakuleli University of Eswatini Professor Justice Sithwala umelwe nguProfessor Henry Kandaga uthi tonke tinhlangothi kumele libambisane ukuthi kube nekuphepha emgwacweni ube suncoma litiko letemisebenti lemkhulu nekutfutsa ngalokusebenzisana nale nyuvesi ekuqeqesha letisebenti. Letisebenti lebeliqeqeshwa tikhulunyelwe ngubhekisizwe Mkhabela. Ubonge kakhulu ukhulumende wasungeta ngekuthi njengaloku sebaqeqeshiwe kusho ukuthi sebaqoqodzele kulomsebenzi wokuhlola timotolo.
And from what we have been trained, Mr. Pierce, especially covering all the fields that I've just mentioned, I would like to inform you, Mr. Pierce, that now you don't have ordinary inspectors in the room.
Letisebenti tibe setinikwa tifiketi tathu lokhu setiqeqeshiwe sekubhekeke ukuthi tikhona ekuhlolisisa timotolo ukuthi tifanele kuba semgwacweni tibheke ukuthi tikhona kubutha ubufakazi lapho kusuke kwenteke khona tingoti tiphindze futhi ticondzisise tiphindze futhi tikhona nekusebentisa imithetho lebuye khanjiswa emgwacweni kwimithwalo leyingoti kubala kulokunye etindzabeni kubika Fortune Dlangamandla isezulwini ehotel lase-Royal Villas.
Bantfu labasha abangenelani kangako ngetindzaba letiphatselene nelwati lwemdzabo bona banake kakhulu tebuchwepheshe lokucuketfwe ngumbiko waka-Esepak lebewubuka kulondvoloteka kwelwati lwemdzabo i-indigenous knowledge. Lo mbiko wetfulwe ehhotela le-The George Kamanzini ngalesitsatfu.
Inhlangano lebuke tindzaba tekucwaninga i-Esepak yetfule umbiko wekulondvolota lwati lwemdzabo pheceleti indigenous knowledge systems. Inhloso kutsi lwati lwemdzabo lungashabalali lulondvolotwe. Dokotela Gugu Msane wesifundo sesayensi uchaza kabanti ngalombiko nalokutfolakele.
Kumele ukuthi sikugcine kungasilahlekeli ngoba kwasilahlekela asesilahlekele identity yethu sesilahlekele buve bethu sesiyahamba nje umoya usimixale globalization isimixale modernization isimixale sidogcina silahlekele ukuthi kodwa thina sibobani. Phindze futhi indlela lesenta ngayo uma ungake uthi ubuka ema SDG goals
ayabuka ukuthi esikhathini esiningi bakhuluma nge-sustainability. Kusho ukuthi nathi lana kumele ukuthi si-make sure ukuthi le ndlela lesenta ngayo asiyilimati imvelo.
Thembu Menzi Dlamini waka-Isepark uthi basenda lolu cwaningo bakhulumise abantu labasha imimango emasondvo besilisa besifazane kubala kulabambalwa.
Ukuthi sineNkosi uMswati, that's cultural heritage. It's specific to us as Maswati. We do not share it with other people. So EIK is relevant for Eswatini, which is why we are specifically looking at indigenous knowledge, not traditional knowledge.
Usike kutholakele ukuthi besilisa banelwati ngelwati lwemdzabu nawubacatsanisa nebesifazane. Kanti-ke kusebentelwa ukuthi ilwati lwemdzabu lungene nasetikolweni. Uthi-ke kutholakele nekwekuthi bantu labasha bona bathi abangenelani kangako nato tindzaba telwati lwemdzabu bona banake tindzaba tebuchwephesha pheceleti i-technology. Etindzabeni kubeka Giyani Msibini na Princess Mahlalela sisedi George Kamanzini.
Akulokunye amabhalane lomkhulu etiko letebuchwephesha phesheya Dube uthi kuqinisekisa ukuthi likusasa lelive kutebuchwephesha lingilelo lelifake lonke eliswati. Kumele hulumende akubeke embili ukuthi wonke uyafinyelela ku-internet ngaphandle-ke kwekubuka limuva bulili umnyaka kanye nekukuthi-ke uhlala kuphi. Dube ukusho lokho ngesikhathi inhlangosi letahlukene tihlangene ehhotela Esibane Eswatini Internet Governance Forum. Azike Dube bekakathi amelelwe lisekela lakhe Macanjana Motha.
Lo mhlangano ubanjwe ngephansi kwesicubuko lesithi kwakha lekusasa lalabatsinzeka ngokutebuchwephesha building our multi-stakeholder digital future.
It is evident that the power of the internet has become a cornerstone of our socio-economic development. From bridging the digital divide to fostering innovation, our collaborative efforts have reaped significant benefits.
Lisekela amabhange lomkhulu etiko letebuchwephesha Macanjana Motha libekamelele amabhange lomkhulu kuleli tiko phesheya Dube uthi sekusobala nje ukuthi manje i-internet angumgogodlo wentuthuko yeMaswati. Ucubeka uthi kubambisana lokukhona etihlangothini letihlukene kube nemthayalo omuhle kodwa noma kunjalo kukhona bulukhuni lobusha lobuta nalokhu lobudzinga kunakwa. Ucubeka uthi kumqokwa nekhambisa embili tekuphepha kuto tebuchwephesha.
These discussions are critical as we continue to address the challenges and opportunities of an increasingly interconnected world. One of the most pressing challenges we face is closing the digital divide.
Umphathi wemlawulo wetekuxhumana eSwatini Communications Commission Mvilawembi Dlamini uthi letingcoko letifana naleti kumele tichubeke ngenhloso yokuthola isombululo kanye nematfuba kulolu hlangothi lokuchubeka nekukhula emhlabeni. Dlamini uchubeka uthi bulukhuni lobukhulu lobukhona ngiloko bekuvala umkhathi ekufinyeleleni kutebuchwephesha. Uchubeka uthi lobulukhuni lobo abuvimbi nje kuphela kufinyelela elisutweni lomqokwa kodwa kuphindze buvimbe ematfuba langatfolwa abantu amabhizinisi kanye nemave ukuthi akhona kusimama kulesikhathi semnotho losime kutebuchwephesha.
Equipped to address the complexities of the digital landscape.
Lo mhlangano i-Internet Governance Forum ubanjwa ngomhlaba wonke kani osukunyiswa inhlangano kamhlaba i-United Nations lapho khona kubhungwa ngemithetho lehambelana netindzaba te-internet. Kule mhlangano lebo hulumende amabhizinisi tinhlangano letibuke emalungelo ebantfu tibhunga bulukhuni kanye nematfuba leta ne-internet. Etindzabeni kubika Fortune Dlangamandla isezulwini.
Tindzabeni temidlalo seyisukunyiswe ngalokusemthethweni indzebe ngonyama cup eminyaka wa 2024 kuya 2025. Lokubhekeke ukuthi icale kule nyanga lesetulu kanti kulo mnyaka kutawudlalelwa imali lengu-5 million emalangeni. Akulokunye libandla lelibuke kusebenta kwelicembu lempabane Swallows selibhalele umvale Nkosi Lungile lapho khona limendlulisela lelicembu ngalokusemthethweni. Umvale Nkosi Lungile kubhekeke ukuthi abonane naleli bandla kule mpelasonto lesiya kuyo. Betinga ukuthi ndzaba teSwati lo mhla ekuseni sitabuka simo selitulo sibahlolo emarket sitabuya masinyane.
kude lesinye isikhathi ngaphandle kwalesi.
Aba-researche, bafunde.
Being risky means ukuthi nalokuwa kwayo kulula.
Nathi kufuna sente ukukhicita lokhu kusembili.
Renewal of TV licenses for 2024 is now open. Here is a quick reminder. A viewer's TV license costs 180 emalangeni per device. Other accessories such as decoders and set-top box cost 50 emalangeni per device. For traders and repairers, TV license costs 300 emalangeni per business area. And now, to pay your TV license, use these following methods. You can use MTN Mobile Money with the number 76222000 or dial *007 *3 *7 hash. Or you can use Eswatini Imali. And you can pay our TV license at any post office in the country. Another option is you can use any NetBank branch using our TV license account number 119900430037. Don't forget, when paying for your viewer's TV license, reference with your PIN at all times. And when paying for a retailer TV license, reference with your TIN at all times. For more information, call us on 7802-4543 or 34050163 or 34020879. And you can send us a WhatsApp message on 762222000.
Welcome back. Asikuvusele nawo losanza kuzivulela ilanga lelikhulu ke lamuhla for umsakazo Eswatini TV njengoba umhlaba wonke ukubhala ilanga le World Television Day. Lilanga ke leli lilagagelwa ngomhla ohlangene ngeminyaka 1996 kulandzela ukuthi kubanje the first forum ye Television Day kulowo mnyaka. Kusichazela kabanti ngayo Television Day ukuthi ngabe libale yangana nelisuku. I'm joined by babevusa igama Khumalo kanye nomcebo Malinga who was a presenter back in the day. Khumalo has held many positions lapha ekhaya Eswatini TV. He has been with Lomsakato for over 30 years. Asinivusele sinemukele lomhla ekseni. Very good morning. Gumina ngacala ngawe nje nomcebo. You know, let's talk about this special day. It's World Television Day. Lubale yangana nolusuku lolu. How did it come about?
Okay, thank you so much, Lynn. Thanks for having us in the studio this morning. Personally, from there, it means the world, you know, to me, because it gave me a career, you know, having television, you know, available, you know, in the world. So I really appreciate the fact because today, 21 November, we were able to commemorate such an important aspect of communication, you know, in the world, you know, which is television, one medium that brings families together, that actually makes us, you know, exchange cultures and to stay informed with what is happening, you know, around the world. So seeing Eswatini TV and as myself, I'm very excited to be part of this day, and I'm looking forward to a very interesting day, you know, commemorating International World TV Day.
All right, but you know, television has evolved so much. 30 years, 33 years to be precise. Kuzivetela nje sithombe ukuthi lokho akade nibensebenza kanjani from the cameras lenbe wasebenzisa equipment benisebenzisa yase studio sound nale production nje ukuthi bekonke isikhathi esinganani nje to come up with a proper production of a program or a TV show.
Okay, siyabonga kakhulu Lungelele asivusele babukele beSwaziland television, Eswatini television. So long khumbula yona katseni. Yeah. In terms of technology ngoba vele ngala ka technical. So kufika kwami lapha ngafika ngabo 1982 as a trainee, and then I progressed until I was the engineering chief engineer. Yeah. nasifika I think kwakusetshenziswa analog equipment kakhulu at the time. I think ngabo 1982 nje, I remember le studio lesengisibona sesinjena nyalo. They used to do one camera, one analog camera, lebeyisetshenziswa for TV news and production konke nje, what was on one camera. But now we see there's quite a number of cameras here. And to actually produce a news, one has to prepare that camera. It will take about 30 minutes. We set the level yayo broadcaster ibe kahle, sithombe sibe kahle. Khwala besikona kuthiwa white balance. We used to do that. We measure the camera zesithombe sibe kahle. And then even there, before we transmit, we used to have analog, we used to call them time-based correctors. Those systems, now sidlala, siqhamuka videotape, sibe kahle, sisinke kahle. Nakhona you have to align those time-based correctors before you do your transmission. So, but things have changed now. For an example, camera, you don't have to do the manual adjusting of white balancing. It's just automated now. Things are automated. So yeah, in terms of production, nakhona things were analog. You have to connect my cameras using analog systems, and you have to actually align them before production yendege. But now things have changed. I remember one instance, we used to record the program from WorldNet. WorldNet, that's the episode to record. We had to come in episode, but after we then actually designed a circuit whereby the recording was done automatically. So that was our first automation. Technical, I think we were with Ralph Gambule, who we used to work together with. So, but now I think things have changed. Cinema automation systems, where you can just program your computer, things did record there. So I think ngayibeka lapho nje kwanyalo.
Yeah. Kumunja ngathi itapembula ngibani lena njengoba vele siyakachaza nje khona ukuthi vele ama technologies vele seke tenelishintsho lolunengi. People now use tablets, they use their cell phones, they use their computers to stream their favorite shows online. So is television still relevant in this day and age? Is there any purpose yayo?
I believe it's also a purpose here, and as much as yes, we are moving towards that age, of streaming and more AI. Television will always be there, will always be reliable, and will always serve, communities, especially developing countries. We will still have that reliance, of receiving our information, on that silver screen. So it does have that sense as well of bringing families together, So that is one thing that still you will find, with television. So I do believe, Kuti, television is not going anywhere. It's going to remain, the main source of information and communication, within communities, countries, and globally. And more especially, in us, staying aligned and reliability of how do I find my content? As much as everything is instant, there's something that is rewarding or fulfilling, when you sit at home, you pick up your remote control and you switch on your television. And it's nostalgic as well, it's something that's like so good as cool now. So it's difficult, to actually, you let go of it. And we appreciate, the new devices and the new ways, of actually of gathering content or absorbing content. You've rightfully said, streaming, there's gadgets, there's cell phones, and I'm sure there's even smaller things coming up. We don't even know what's next. Nyayalos is a bit baffled by AI that has come, into the industry. I think Mr. Kumalanje would agree. It's changing, the world of technology. But we are yet to see. But television is here to stay.
Yeah, you're right. It does connect communities, just as you did back then, and also hosted Coca-Cola WhatsApp. You connected a lot of people. Yes. You brought together a lot of people.
Yes.
How was there for you back then? Lokuthi nje, you know, boya kubantu, ubakhulumise, ubaxoxise, and how was that experience for you?
It was the best experience of my life. I think I did that show for close to 4 years. And thanks to Coca-Cola back then, you know, that sponsored the program. Yes, I went to the communities, we visited the schools, and not so long ago we actually posted an old clip, you know, of the show on our social media pages. Besise Salesian Primary School. I think it was the year 2003, I think. And, you know, we then just put a naughty caption, if you can see someone, take that person and tell us who you see. Very young people. And, you know, it was so interesting to see the responses. Mambo sebakhulile, sebashadile, sebanye bafana, labanye ba-respondile, lapha kuthi, so it is a beautiful experience, you know, that I had at Eswatini TV, even going into, you know, talk shows. But I think Coca-Cola WhatsApp did exactly that. Going out there into Eswatini, it was really exciting times.
Yeah, I think kumnanzi lokuthina sibuke emuva sibone ukuthi sibuya and also nje just kubona lama developments lasendekile kule industry lena. Ngifuna nje usichazele ngalana nani sakada live ukuthi kathi nimenenda kanjani so sinabo live view sesivele nje siconnect ngakusebenzisa tona debuchwephesha ngabe kathi nina kuthiwa nje kune live event ngabe kisa la Eswatini benisebenta kanjani?
Yeah, okay, ngiyabonga. Yeah, bekumadimi akatheni nasende ma live transmissions. We had to use microwave links at times. Lebe siwasetha kwanza ukuthi sometimes i-transmission isenhlangano. Wakufuna sisethe leyo link leyo isuke enhlangano iye kaHlathi, from Hlathi khulu iye eNtondozi, from Ntondozi itela. Yeah, so it bedinga vele a lot of preparation.
Yeah.
But as things change, wakhanza ukuthi ESPTC so far i-fiber network. Wakhanza ukuthi then you can use the fiber network to broadcast live from this side. Okay. But nakhona it involves a lot of preparations natawenda i-live transmission, and kufuneka nanisebenze as a team for the success of that live transmission. It's very, very important. I think another area I wanted to touch on was in Zabaye, because besenda konke studio
send 1 minute
send a network broadcast.
Okay.
So we used to broadcast our main transmitter bekusentondozi. So nakufele leyo transmitter leyo almost 60% of the country bekwanza ayinasithombe. But as we evolved, then we decided to change the network ukuthi split lenye inyuke leyihamba ngale direction lenye ihamba ngale direction wakhana sesiya minimize ke ema breakdowns, and then kwasekutaka i-digital transmission lawafaka new network khona yaka digital.
Yeah. Lasikhona
khona.
Yeah. Kokugcina nomcebo 10 seconds please. How are you commemorating this day lomuhlasing Eswatini TV?
Eswatini TV is hosting a forum at Limpopo University. Iqala nga 10 a.m. siqala 12 noon. We have Emma industry gurus that are going to form part of the panel, like by a representative from ESCOM. We have Toy member from Channel S. We also have the PS from the Ministry of ICT. We also have an independent producer chairman who is Sandile Makanya. We have invited the students for both streams, TV and film and journalism, being your audience of this beautiful event. We felt let us take it to the students, take it to a faculty that absorbs, you know, the industry that we are in. So that is what we'll be doing to commemorate the day.
All right, thank you so much, Ismail Kulundunga. Now, for joining us from Klexeni, there you have it, World Television Day. Msakata Eswatini TV, Dabe Ulapa, and University Aslim Kokwing, Gukupa Leli Langa. Special Demagatist, having a traffic update.
When you choose your adventures, you do so with an open heart and a desire for the unexpected. You embark on journeys to discover new worlds full of wonder. You choose a path to awaken your senses, a world to make you look up and realize just how inspiring this life can be. Arrive and awaken your heart. Explore life in ways only thought possible in your dreams. Discover just how far you go to expand your understanding of life's greatest mysteries. There's just one place on this planet with so much to offer. Now is the time for you to have the royal experience in the kingdom.
Asimenze sinemukele sawufuna kuva isimo semgwaqo lomhla ekseni nemlangeni inkosi yasikuvusele kuhambeka kanjani lo mhla emgwaqweni live.
Anguvusele emthombeni ngifise ngivusele nabo bonke lebabukele umsakazo STBC namuhla ekuseni kusile breakfast show cha imigwaqo sesiyibukile ikakhulu nje ke lesikubonile kungaba ngito tibane letingasebenzi telapha kamanzini letibukene kanye nayo iRiverstone letinye tibane letingasebenzi kunatiyali silapha enhlangano letibukene kanye nayo iFosi lidolobha lelikhulu laseMbabane kanye nedolobha lakuMathapha tibane takhona tiyasebenza kahle kakhulu kude lapho khona sibone ukuthi singamphazamisa khona umsebenzisi wemgwaqo lengingakusho nje ke kungathi lapha ku Central Distributor solo umsebenzi usachubeka lapho kani ke kuzuza nje ke ukuthi naba bo flexmen lebaye bakwendele ukuthi unciphise lona litubane bakhona siyacela lokuthi sibalalele kuze sokhona kwenza kulendzawo la kulungiswa khona lo mgwaqo kukhululeka siphinde futhi siphephile kani ke nalapha kaShangri-La nakhona umsebenzi solo usachubeka kani lapha nawufika kaRouse speed sakhona lize kuyi freeway 40 kilometers per hour kwatise phela kwekuthi nawo lo msebenzi loyo so usecopheleleni lesetulu lekwakha yona i-overhead bridge lephuma ngetulu kwemgwaqo kani ke indzawo letinye ngokwahlukahlukana kwato sibone imfuyo lengenako ekhade emgwaqweni kusuka lapha eMphandle nalapha kuBompisi Farm nalapha ke ngisheya kubongogola nakhona kuyabonakala inkomo leti gijinyiswa ngilo phela lihlata libonakala ngekhathi kwatise phela kwekuthi lo fencing lebe afakiwe immediately nje nakuphela wona lo mgwaqo so unato ke timbobo kani ke lapha nawufika kubomalinza wehlela nakhona bomathetha nakhona imfuyo iyabonakala emgwaqweni ngoba kunxusa nje ke ukuthi eMaswati nakahamba kuleso indzawo leto litubane labo balehlise ngaphandle kwaloko ezindaweni letinye kuyahambeka kungamane nje ke ukuthi sicaphele sisayisebenzisa imigwaqo kwatise phela kwekuthi labanye vele impela sonto bayiqala ngaye nalo lesine sinalo lethemba lokuthi nangabe sitawuba nabo ubambisana ngeke saba nato ingozi nemvulo sesiyicesile iweekend ingakho mthombeni lebengidiphethe elangeni lamuhla ngethembe ukuthi utawuphepha kanye nalosebenza kanye nabo ngingamkhohlwa umsebenzisi wemgwaqo
Sibonga kakhulu Nkosi nani nisebenze kahle lapho ni baka traffic stop bahlelo market masinyane sibe nedindzaba desingisi
Be sure to catch Business Watch every Wednesday between 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., where we feature the latest updates on business news, market trends, and exclusive interviews with industry leaders, as well as insights on emerging small and medium enterprises in the commercial sector. Business Watch, your business leader.
Ujala masoda mahle kunathi lesa.
Sabatandi ukuthi njengalokho
sivile sive sitikhulume.
Welcome back. This is the news at 7. The Deputy Prime Minister says alcohol abuse exacerbates gender-based violence in the country. The Deputy Prime Minister was addressing members of the DPM's Portfolio Committee in Senate during the debate of the Ministry's second quarter performance report for the second quarter of the financial year.
Abuse of alcohol is very high in this country. Abuse of drugs, including in some, it's too much. Le gender-based violence lenye sikhanze ukuthi kukhozwa ukuthi sekudza kwemnemake kudza kwemnebabe. Kudza kwemi singema girlfriend ne boyfriend siyanatha sibuye sishayine stereka. Gcine lo munye ahambile emhlabeni. This morning besilalela ku radio nangilobulele ebhuti wakhe basibhuti wakhe bekathabo. Kusho ukuthi ukhala mcansule ngayo wathi enough is enough. Unfortunately akufanele ukuthi athathe umthetho awufake esandleni sakhe.
Nalo ukukhulumela nje labakhubatekile kangaka ngoba vele uyakhanza ukuthi basalela ngemuva kakhulu. Sekungaba encourage ukuthi mhlawumbe nathi sitisha umthetho ungaba nezindlela lesingadenda ukuthi maybe mandate nje ngibekise ukuthi ngebuilding kube nale accessibility ngoba stawuthi yebo siyabakhuthaza abantu labakhubatekile ukuthi ababe part of the normal society kepha ukhanze ukuthi lama facilities akekho kahle abasakhona ifinyelela.
Kambe nga 2028 kulo mfutho longaka lo entiwa ngumhloswati ukhanze ukuthi labanye persons with disabilities mhlawumbe babe khona eParliament babe kusantana noma babe ngu4.
Itiko linayo yini statistics of all the different types of disabilities that we have in the country, because we're seeing strides laba kulaba labadinga a sign language, there is progress there, but lala manye letinye tinhlobo of disability dona
awu emaswati anele ngekuva ukuthi sesinyusile ilokhunje impahla aqhamuka ngetinkhawu. So lokhu kusenta ukuthi sike sakhokha futhi nasemsakazweni ukuthi ababuye babhalise. So babhalisa kukhona ke ukuthi singathi sesibathethe bonke ngoba labanye babo babafihlile.
Government says she's doing everything possible to reimburse pensioners who lost their money on investment schemes. The DPM Senator Tulidladla was represented by the Minister of Tinkundla, Honorable Skumbuzo Dlamini, during a Pensioners' Day that was held at the Manzini Club.
Pensioners from around the country came in their numbers to celebrate their day, which is usually commemorated in September. This is a day where they come together to discuss issues affecting them and how they can assist one another. The Deputy Prime Minister, Senator Tulidladla, who was represented by the Minister of Tinkundla, Honorable Skumbuzo Dlamini, says government is working tirelessly to address the issue of those who lost their invested monies.
Uyakusebenta vele nje khona kucabanga ukuthi ingabe kwente kanjani la ekutheni labantu labadzala labanye labatfuke ba-investor kulama schemes lawa lagcina sekahamba imali tawo kungaphinzeki ngalenye ilanga nalo sekwentekile-ke kubonakala indlela lokuthi ingabe kude indlela engenteka lokuthi vele manje bancemeteleke ngandlela thide usakusebenta-ke uhulumende lokwenda ucommitted la ekutheni akubone ukuthi kuyenteka.
He says government will assist them and address their concerns as soon as possible. Government understands their plan and their pain and assures them that they will get their money. He applauds milestones done by the association so far. The Pensioners Association President Elliot Mkachwa thanked the minister for attending, saying it means that government cares.
Lokhu kuhlangana kwethu ke lamhla ngaloko sifuna kulungisa tonke letigwegwe letikhona. Phinde sibonge kakhulu lokuthi size siluselebrate lolusuku lese lutawuhlala lukhona iminyaka yonke. Siyethemba ke ukuthi nalabatawulandzela ngemuva sebatawubona lokuthi lesikhwama sinebanikati baso.
This was the first time And the first day the association had this day, and they plan to have such going forward. For Eswatini TV News, I am Kian Msibi with Sesabile Mamba in Princess Mahlalela at the Manzini Club.
The construction of the International Convention Center is expected to be finalized by May next year. This is according to the Minister of Economic Planning, Dr. Tambo Kina, when he was addressing members of his portfolio committee in Senate.
ICC liqiniso ukuthi sesibheke ukuthi phela babo April May. The main reason kuye kuba bedele mali yokubhadala labo labasesayithini bese bayayekela kusebenza baphume bangasebenzi. Labanye baphuma ngaMay, labanye baphuma before bake beme bangasebenzi. Ngesikhathi bemile bangasebenzi kunye lokungeni kubabhadala. Ngoba balapha esayithini balethwe ngithi iPNG itawuqhubeka babhadale. Roughly, I believe about nabeme for inyanga minimum 10 million. Ukuthi bebemile basebenza. Kuhle ndawufika ukuthi le budget cash flow versus cash flow. Kuhle kumeka lo ngaseleleke. Kude sizathu lesinye lesikhulu kakhulu lesingachaza ukuthi yini kungapheli lapha. Kuba khona ke lokunye lokwelama lokho, but number one the mali. Lokwelama lokho ICC Convention Center nelo hotel 5-star hotel nali qala kwakhiwa le orientation isakubeka kahle. Kwakuna 260 million for interior fit outs and 250 million. Ngiyakhohlwa wathi ukuthi ngube 250 million, ngube 260 million, but combined about half a billion. Kwase kuyantshintshwa nga-2016 ukuthi le fit out, interior fit out akusesiyo le modern besawuyenza, seyi-classical. Sesidinga abantu from specialists kwi-interior decor and fit out bede kwanyalo nje mhlaka 12 bekupresenta labanye bendibid ukuthi kutaba malini ukuqeda i-5-star interior mhlaka Tuesday 26 I believe tabe presenter two more from overseas. Yini isiloko sithi abapresente laba bebakhona basinika imali yamafilimu kuze kude nje live letakuvuma kunento esiyibona.
The Ministry of Education and Training, in collaboration with the Eswatini Higher Education Council, is hosting a higher education symposium to identify skill gaps in the workforce. ESHEC CEO Dr. Loretta Mkonta said this during a meeting with stakeholders of different industries that are part of the education sector.
Following the concerns raised by Eswatini during Sibaya on the levels of education in the country not meeting the industry needs, the Minister of Education, Honorable Owen Nxumalo, is saying he is very pleased to be part of this symposium that will have a solution for this matter.
Globally, there is a rising concern about the gap between academic, curricular, and industrial demands. And Eswatini is no different. Industry stakeholders frequently express the need for greater practical skills, workplace preparedness, and innovation-driven talent, despite the fact that our universities have made admirable progress in teaching theoretical knowledge and research competencies.
ESHEC CEO Dr. Loretta Mkonda is saying this symposium aims to facilitate in-depth conversations between higher education institutions and industry on aligning educational programs with industry needs.
The importance of industry, the importance of some of you who are present here today in ensuring skills development, because industry should not just be the receiver of Lama skills, but they should also contribute towards developing the programs that are necessary.
The Ministry of Education is going all in making it a point that higher education is practiced in the country, especially at low levels. Reporting for Eswatini TV is Princess Mahlalela with Giani Msibi at the George in Manzini.
17 motor vehicle inspectors from the Ministry of Public Works and Transport who specialize in inspecting roadworthiness have received certificates in their field. The Ministry's Principal Secretary, Tulani Mkhalipi, said the training of these officers came at a perfect time as the festive season is approaching.
The training of the officers from the Ministry of Public Works and Transport was conducted by the University of Eswatini under the Faculty of Science and Engineering. The Ministry of Public Works and Transport Principal Secretary Tulani Mkhalipi states that training these motor vehicle inspectors on roadworthiness inspections could have a positive impact in reducing the number of accidents.
We can reduce or even, maybe I'd say eliminate fatal road accidents.
The Ministry of Public Service Principal Secretary Sipho Tsabet is represented by Nkosi Tsabet. Tsabet encourages the officers to work diligently and leave a good reputation behind.
Today, as we celebrate your completion of your training program in vehicle inspection and safety, you mark not only the end of a significant chapter in your lives, but also the beginning of a new adventure, new challenges, new opportunities to carve your path in this field.
The University of Eswatini Vice-Chancellor Professor Justice Twala is represented by Professor Henry Kandaga.
I would like to commend the Ministry of Public Works and Transport for recognizing the value of investing in their workforce by equipping its employees with much needed skills and knowledge. The ministry is paving the way for sustainable improvements in road safety and service delivery.
The trained officers are represented by Pegisizwe Mkhabela, who expresses his gratitude to the government of Eswatini.
And from what we have been trained, Mr. Pierce, especially covering all the fields that I've just mentioned, I would like to inform you, Mr. Pierce, that now you don't have ordinary inspectors in the room.
The officers were then awarded their certificates. Following the training, they are now expected to assess whether vehicles are roadworthy, collect evidence in the event of accidents, and enforce road transportation laws, including those regulating the transportation of hazardous goods. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, Royal Villas Hotel, Ezulwini.
The youth is mostly focused on technology and not care much on indigenous knowledge. This is contained in a report by ESAPAC, which was presented at the George Hotel on Wednesday.
ESAPAC presented the indigenous knowledge systems mapping. Stakeholders presented too included the Ministry of ICT. The Ministry of ICT Principal Secretary Peshia Dube, who was represented by the Director of National Archives, Ngobam Msibi, says such indigenous knowledge must be preserved.
Leaves our indigenous communities vulnerable to exploitation. Existing policies, though recognizing cultural practices, do not offer concrete mechanism for safeguarding or promoting IKS in meaningful ways. What's the call for action now for the Ministry of ICT and stakeholders?
Tembumenzi Dlamini, the research officer from ESAPAC, says they conducted a research and talked to various groups of people, including the church, the community, traditional leaders, males, females, amongst others.
That's cultural heritage. It's specific to us as a Maswati. We do not share it with other people. So EIK is relevant for Eswatini, which is why we are specifically looking at indigenous knowledge, not traditional knowledge.
She says the report suggests that males dominate on indigenous knowledge compared to women. The indigenous knowledge systems will be taken to schools. Reporting, I am Giani Msibi with Princess Mahlalela at the George in Manzini.
The Minister of ICT Principal Secretary Pesha Dube says to ensure Eswatini's digital future is truly inclusive, the government must prioritize accessibility for all citizens regardless of their socio-economic background, gender, age or location.
The meeting is held under the theme Building Our Multi-Stakeholder Digital Future. The representative of the Ministry of Information, Communications and Technology, Makanjana Motsa, speaking on behalf of Principal Secretary Pesha Dube, states that it is evident that the power of the Internet has become a cornerstone of Eswatini's socio-economic development.
It is evident that the power of the Internet has become a cornerstone of our socio-economic development. From bridging the digital divide to fostering innovation, our collaborative efforts have reaped significant benefits. Yet, with these advancements, we are also presented with new challenges that demand our unwavering attention and concerted action. In addition to fostering a robust digital ecosystem, we must prioritize cybersecurity. Protecting our digital assets is paramount to safeguarding our national security, economic prosperity, and public trust. By working closely with international partners, industry stakeholders, and civil society, we can strengthen our cyber defenses and mitigate emerging trends.
The Eswatini Communications Commission Chief Executive Mvilawempi Dlamini says a multi-stakeholder approach is essential in addressing emerging online harms.
These discussions are critical as we continue to address the challenges and opportunities of an increasingly interconnected world. One of the most pressing challenges we face is closing the digital divide. This divide not only limits access to essential services and information, but also restricts the opportunity for individuals, businesses, and nations to thrive in the digital economy.
The Internet Governance Forum, IGF, is a global multi-stakeholder initiative convened by the United Nations to foster dialogue on public policy issues related to the Internet. It provides an open platform for stakeholders, including governments, civil society, businesses, academics, and technical experts, to discuss the challenges and opportunities in Internet governance. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, Zulwini.
In an effort to scale up foreign trade, the Eswatini Investment Promotion Authority is training diplomats on economic trade. Executive Head Investment Promotion Martin Masilela says in total 25 diplomats are being trained online with an intention to boost the country's participation in trade agreements like the SADC-EU Economic Trade Partnership Agreement, the Continental Free Trade Agreement, the Agreement African Growth Opportunity Area and the African Continental Free Trade Area, amongst others.
There has been a low uptake of some of the international trade agreements by local businesses. This has led to the Eswatini Investment Promotion Authority to adopt extensive measures to raise awareness of the country's need to penetrate the international markets. The executive head of investment promotion, Martin Masilela, says that training is to ensure that diplomats become foot soldiers in getting investors who will take advantage of these agreements, thus creating employment opportunities.
We've partnered with ITC, the International Trade Center, which is a UN body that is based in Geneva, to actually build capacity of our diplomats to deliver on the aspirations of government with respect to trade and investments. We're basically using them as our extension. We know that our counterparts in other countries, they do have satellite offices abroad where they do direct interface with investors. But for us, since we only have an office in Eswatini, so we basically take advantage of the fact that we have diplomats there. Some are trade attaches, some work as councillors, some first secretaries, but they all assist in terms of trade and investment promotion on the ground. So we want to build their capacity to basically handle investment as well as trade issues of course, in partnership with us on the ground. So we want them to actually forge relationships with chambers of commerce and industry associations in their respective stations.
Some of the agreements the diplomats are capacitated on include the SADC European Union Economic Partnership Agreement, the African Continental Free Trade Area, and the African Growth Opportunity Act, amongst others. For Eswatini TV News, Nelson Dlangamandla, Vuminkosi Nzinisa, Mbabane.
The Chartered Institute of Procurement and Supply says more is being done to professionalize the space of procurement in the country, which has not been performing up to the desired standard, resulting in unaccounted for expenditures and corruption. This happens both in governments, parastatals, and private companies. The chairperson, Bongani Chauke, has detailed what they are doing to improve the sector.
Unaccounted for expenditures and corruption have been a major challenge facing the procurement space both in government and the private sector in the country. The chairperson of the Chartered Institute of Procurement and Supply, Bongani Chauke, says they are working to completely professionalize the space to avoid these occurrences.
We want to ensure that organizations employ qualified people who are actually the practitioners of the field. Those that have studied and have qualified, because those are the ones that actually know the ethical codes or the code of conduct that comes with the profession. And then what we are actually doing as a SIPS branch in Eswatini, we are still at an infantry stage whereby once we create that awareness, we also want to be recognized by employers. And over and above that, we also want to register a professional body that will regulate the practice, just like it's happening in the legal field, in the accounting field. So we also want to put up that code or that recognized body registered with government so that you can be able to enforce the best practices that must be employed by people who are practicing in the profession or who are employed in organizations.
The Chartered Institute of Procurement and Supply currently has 300 members. The Eswatini Public Procurement Regulatory Agency has been conducting several workshops on procurement, seeing that a lot of public finances are lost in this space, hindering service delivery. For Eswatini TV News, Nelson Dlangamandla, Vuminkosi Nzinisa, Mbabane.
In international news, the United States on Wednesday stood as the sole obstacle to the adoption of a UN resolution which sought to implement an immediate ceasefire to the Israel-Hamas war, saying the resolution didn't link release of hostages to an immediate unconditional ceasefire.
Another school turned shelter in Gaza, hit by a deadly Israeli strike. Residents in the enclave continue to pay a heavy price as Israel presses ahead with its military campaign against Hamas. Meanwhile, attempts to halt the fighting are still proving unsuccessful. A ceasefire draft resolution at the UN Security Council has been blocked after it was vetoed by the US. Matthew Miller explained the reasoning behind the move.
The resolution does call for the release of hostages. What it doesn't do is link the release of hostages to an immediate unconditional ceasefire.
Israel's UN ambassador criticized the text, describing it as a resolution for appeasement of Hamas.
The resolution being considered by the Security Council today is nothing short of a betrayal. It betrays the 101 innocent hostages.
Among the countries to voice their disappointment over the US veto was France, which stated that the text very firmly insists on the release of the hostages. For the Palestinian envoy to the UN, there is no excuse for failing to reach an agreement.
There is no right to mass killing of civilians. There is no right to starve an entire civilian population. This is what Israel is doing in Gaza.
It marks the fourth time America has exercised its veto power during the war in support of its ally Israel.
Russia warned on Tuesday that it would respond after Ukraine fired longer-range U.S. missiles at its territory for the first time as President Vladimir Putin issued a nuclear threat on the 1000th day of the war. Meanwhile, the United States will also soon provide Kyiv with anti-personnel landmines to shore up its defenses against Russian forces.
Russia's defense ministry releases footage showing Russian tanks in alleged Ukrainian positions. Army, artillery and reconnaissance units helping Moscow gain ground in eastern Ukraine ahead of winter setting in. It's something U.S. President Joe Biden wants to avoid. Washington has authorized to send anti-personnel landmines to Kyiv days after lifting a ban on firing U.S. missiles into Russia.
The landmines that we would look to provide them would be landmines that are not persistent. You know, we can control when they would self-activate, self-detonate, and that makes it far more safer eventually than the things that they are creating on their own.
The Biden administration intent on ramping up aid for Kyiv as Joe Biden's term draws to a close. The latest developments come as questions swirl over if President-elect Donald Trump will continue American support. Ukraine's president suggests his country will lose without it.
If they will cut, I think we will lose. Of course, anyway, we will stay, we will fight. We have our production, but it's not enough to prevail, and I think it's not enough to survive.
Moscow has vowed to respond after Ukraine fired U.S. missiles on its territory for the first time on Tuesday. According to Russia, the use of American weaponry on its soil makes the U.S. a direct participant in the ongoing conflict. Moscow has also incidentally updated its nuclear doctrine, allowing it to use nuclear weapons on non-nuclear states if they're supported by a nuclear power.
It's reported that Ukraine has fired British-supplied Storm Shadow long-range missiles into Russia for the first time. It follows U.S. President Joe Biden's reported decision earlier this week to approve the use of American long-range missiles on targets deep inside Russia.
British media reported Wednesday that Ukraine had fired Storm Shadow missiles supplied by Britain into Russian territory for the first time. The weapons had been used against Russian forces in occupied Ukraine, including this attack on Russia's former Black Sea Fleet headquarters in Crimea last year. London and Kyiv refused to confirm the latest reports. Earlier this week, Ukraine's forces fired US-supplied longer-range ATACMS missiles deep into Russian territory after Washington gave the go-ahead Sunday. France has also supplied Ukraine with its version of the Storm Shadow missiles, known as Scalp. The European missiles differ from the American ATACMS, says defense analyst Patrick Berry of the University of Bath.
They're air-launched missiles, but generally, depending on the export variant, usually got a range of 250 kilometers or 155 miles or so. I think that given the ATACMS has a longer range than that and isn't air-launched, so therefore it's harder to intercept, in theory at least.
Both weapon systems will open a range of new targets.
The range of both missiles is enough to get behind Russian lines and into Russian infrastructure targets, so that will cut off their supplies to their front line. So the actual range of each missile is not as significant as the fact that Ukraine needs them in great quantity and very fast indeed.
Ukraine will have to select its targets carefully, says analyst Berry.
Are you going to allow them to actually up the ante and start hitting energy infrastructure, military infrastructure, stuff that will, oil refineries, etc., stuff that would really start to hurt the Russian economy? That's the question.
Meanwhile, Germany, Ukraine's second biggest supplier of arms, this week ruled out giving Kyiv its long-range Taurus cruise missiles. Berlin fears being dragged into the war.
Nothing had changed for us. The situation, the circumstances are the same. And Taurus is Taurus and not ATACMS or Storm Shadow. So our perspective on that issue is the same.
The future of Western military aid to Kyiv remains uncertain. US President-elect Donald Trump has pledged to end the war on his first day in office. Kyiv fears US support may be cut. Britain and France could opt to continue supplying Ukraine with missiles, says Berry.
They're both nuclear powers. They can take that risk if they want to and lean into it. I think you might find a divergence between European NATO and the US NATO on some policy issues around Ukraine.
Following Washington's decision to approve Ukrainian missile strikes inside Russia, Moscow this week lowered its threshold.
In our sports news, the 2024-2025 Ingwenyama Cup tournament has officially been launched with a package of 5 million emalangeni. The tournament sees an increase of 500,000 emalangeni from the previous edition.
The 2024-2025 Ingwenyama Cup tournament has officially been launched with a package of 5 million emalangeni, which sees an increase of 500,000 emalangeni from the previous edition. Part of the package, there will be a share of 100,000 emarangeni for women football competition. Delivering the message from His Majesty King Mswati III was the chairperson of the tournament, Prince Hlangabeza.
Kafishane bengunene ithi Ingwenyama asibike bambamba bakona lo ukuthi ke kusukela lo muhla sevele iyaqala iyawusenjetwa kuyawugidwa etifundzeni usho njalo inkungu lemnyama lembethu umdimba lengambatha mnemfokazana bengasangithuthumela uyimbuba baleke udlamadolo esinyathi bayethe
ngaba nje kusho ukuthi losilapha sisukumisa yona vele imidlalo letabe icalale etigodzini.
Chairman of the Premier League of Eswatini, Polycarp Dlamini, and the Chief Executive Officer of the Singapetero MVF Fund, who are the title sponsor, David Mieni, thanked His Majesty King Mswati III for once again seeing the need of returning the competition. They both promised that the competition that joins both football and culture will live up to the expectation. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabrice Mzonera, Mbabane.
It's 28 minutes before 8 o'clock. We've come to the end of our second bulletin. Thank you for staying with us. Let's go for an ad break. We'll resume shortly.
Kude lesinye isikhathi ngaphandle kwalesi
aba research bafunze.
Being risky means ukuthi nalokuwa kwayo kulula.
Nathi kufuna sente ukukhicita lokusembili.
Renewal of TV licenses for 2024 is now open. Here is a quick reminder. A viewer's TV license costs 180 emalangeni per device. Other accessories such as decoders and set-top box cost 50 emalangeni per device. For traders and repairers, TV license costs 300 emalangeni per business area. And now, to pay your TV license, use these following methods. You can use MTN Mobile Money with the number 76222000 or dial *007 *3 *7 hash. Or you can use Eswatini Imali. And you can pay our TV license at any post office in the country. Another option is you can use any Nedbank branch using our TV license account number 119900430037. Don't forget, when paying for your viewer's TV license, reference with your PIN at all times. And when paying for a retailer TV license, reference with your TIN at all times. For more information, call us on 7802-4543 or 34050163 or 34020879. And you can send us a WhatsApp message on 762222000.
Welcome back to the program. This is Kusile Breakfast Show, the Thursday edition. It is Black Friday next week, and everyone is excited about the buzz. A lot of sales around every shop right now, and a lot of people are almost, lured into making bad financial decisions. But how do you make thoughtful decisions right now? How do you set financial boundaries as well as ensure that your spending aligns with your goals, but also aligns with your pockets? Sanele Sbia, our financial economist, joins us this morning to help us navigate our way into this year's Black Friday. Sanele, a very good morning to you. Let's start by understanding this Black Friday landscape. It always baffles me how shops are willing to cut a price points by 50%, 40% for one day. It sounds to me like they would be making a loss in that particular day, but clearly they don't, and a lot of people fall for these things. What makes Black Friday such a unique and a powerful phenomenon in the world of retail?
I thank you, Mr. Ngumalo. Good morning, and good morning to the viewers at home. So when we look at Black Friday, you've got to think of the history around the Black Friday sales. If you go back to how it came about, it was more an issue where, after the sales, after the holiday seasons, when there's so much to sell, shops would overstock, and then after that season, they would then cut those prices. But and then that's how the whole Black Friday issue started, and then now it's used as a point where you are now using it to kickstart the shopping season, the holiday shopping season, where you get people back into the shops, get people excited about shopping yet again. So that's why we are here, and that's why we then find ourselves with Black Friday sales every month, every year. And when you think about it, Mr. Numalo, yes, they do slash prices by 50%, but they don't make losses. I always say business is not in the business of making you savings, making your life better, but business is in the business of making profits and taking money from you to make those profits.
It was very interesting. The most important thing about our conversation today is making the viewer, or at least the consumer, sensitized about, avoiding the pitfalls. You've highlighted the risks of falling into the trap of overspending during the sales. What are some of the common psychological triggers that retailers use to influence consumer behavior?
Thank you, Mr. Ngumalo. I like the fact that you've brought up the issue that it's psychological, because all that retailers need to do is get into your head and make sure that you are not able to really see that you're overspending. So one of the oldest tricks that retailers will use, Mr. Ngumalo, is, the shop layout. That's the oldest trick. Retail shops are built to keep you in, most shops are built to keep you in for a longer period of time, because the longer you stay in the shop, the most likely you are going to spend. Secondly, when you look into, the communication, the imagery around in the shop, retailers know that as people will like bargains, right? And that again is a psychological trick where people know that if I think I'm getting something at a bargain, then I am actually going to buy it at even if it's not a bargain. Like if I walk into a shop and then you find that they're going to say on sale now 25 emalangeni, right? But when you are a constant buyer of that commodity, if it doesn't have that bold sticker saying it's on sale, it's 25 emalangeni, you probably know that it's actually 25 emalangeni, even without the sticker. But because psychologically we are tuned to searching for bargains and making savings, once it has that sticker, we are most likely going to buy it. And then there's also issues of the shop layout, Mr. Nxumalo. You know how when you walk out of a retail shop, there is going to be those suites there by the end. The stores are configured in a way that, as you walk out, you're going to see a commodity that you think you want when there's a sale. They always put it in front there. Let's say tissue paper is on sale. They're going to stack it right there in front. It's not going to be where it usually is because you need to see it on your way out. And most likely you are going to pick it up as you are trying to leave the shop. And then another thing that, that the retailers are now doing and all the shops, they now have these loyalty cards and loyalty rewards where you are now going to get 50% off when you do something. And then, you find that those are bargains that you can use as a shopper. But if you are not careful, you will find yourself overspending because you're trying to get to those loyalty points, or you are made to feel that you are saving because there are those loyalty points. But in reality, most of those are usually just built into your purchases that you are making that then tend to save you money. And then lastly, Mr. Nxumalo, you'll notice that when you're walking around town, there's what we call doorbuster deals. When you're walking around town, people are always going to be shouting, dancing, calling you in, or that sale, which is that item which is on sale that they've marked down pretty much. They're going to put it out there by the door. So when you are walking, you will see that this item is now very cheap, let me get it. But in essence, what shops would do is when you walk into a shop, if they've marked something down, they are going to mark something up because shops cannot make a loss. You cannot. So we call it a loss leading strategy. They may necessarily be making a loss on one item, but there are other items that are going to be marked up to make up for the lost revenue on the item which is on sale. And at times you find that they are just going to have limited stocks on those, but those limited stocks will get you into the shop. This whole sales technique and the whole Black Friday issue is about getting you into the shop and having you stay there a bit longer.
It's very interesting. And as people stay there a bit longer this coming Friday, even starting from today, really, because there are pre-sales, these sales are already there and people are starting to make those decisions to go in there and, make these purchases. What becomes very important now is building that financial strategy. How can shoppers prepare themselves now financially for Black Friday? What role does setting a clear budget play in curbing unnecessary purchases?
So setting a clear budget, Mr. Nxumalo, and sticking to the budget, because it's not an issue of setting it. You set it, you stick to it. At least that way you know that I am willing to spend this much and I am going there to spend this much. And when you know you have a budget, you then it also keeps you in track in terms of falling for other bargains that you are most likely going to see in the shop. Let's say, for example, I go into a shop to purchase something and then I see something else which is on sale in the shop. Because there is that FOMO around Black Friday, that fear of missing out, that entire euphoria, the marketing that goes into it, drives people to think bargains only on Black Friday. So if you don't have a budget, you might likely overspend. And once you overspend, that means that's money you don't have for other items in your consumption bundle. So that is why it is quite important, Mr. Nxumalo, to make sure that you stick to the budget and you do not overspend, because there is life to be lived after Black Friday. And we need to have money. Every day of our lives requires money.
There is life to be lived after Black Friday, and certainly it is around a time where the life that is to be lived requires a lot of money. It is the December holidays, it is the festive season already, and it requires a lot of money, family time. And if you spend money not wisely right now, you do that at your own peril. Let's talk about smart planning. You emphasize the importance of research before shopping. I want you to elaborate on how, let's say, pre-planning, for a lack of a better term, as well as creating a list, can help consumers stay on track as well as avoid impulse buys. You have said that it's not just about making that budget, it's about sticking to it.
So planning is quite critical, Mr. Ngumalo, because for one, an item that you really buy or you never thought of buying, an item that you never buy or you never thought of buying. I'm just going to make an example of a TV set, right? If you don't buy a TV set every day of your life, or you didn't have the intention to buy a TV set, then you never know when that item is on sale, because you know that something's on sale when it is priced below what it is normally priced at, right? But if you are just going to think that I'm going to buy this television set around Black Friday, you are going to think it's cheaper, even if it is not. You know, the times shops will do that. They are going to price down at certain items and make sure that others are a bit marked up to make up for the losses on the items that they've priced down. So that is not a sale for you. I guess in a nutshell, that's what I'm trying to say. That if I'm not buying it every day, I'm just making a purchase. Even if I'm making it on Black Friday, it's still a purchase. It's not a sale. So if we have planned appropriately, then what we are going to do in the process, let's say it's now October or it's now November, then I know I want to buy a TV. What I'm going to do, I am going to pre-shop. And then once you are pre-shopping, or what we call window shopping in Eswatini, you are going to window shop and you are going to see where a TV is relatively cheaper. And you then start waiting for their Black Friday specials or their pre-Black Friday sales or their festive season sales. And most likely, you know, when you walk into a shop, they are going to tell you when we are likely expecting another sale. So when you then do is you have to then put a price tracker on that item that you want to buy. You need to know that it costs this much today. It's going to cost much on the Black Friday sale. And then if there is that price difference which works in your favor, that means indeed there is a sale on that item, right? So that is why pre-planning is required. Otherwise, when you are just going to wake up and it's Black Friday and you're just going to run into a shop, you are most likely going to buy items that are either regularly priced or a bit expensive to buy because you thought they were on sale because of the display and the fireworks within the shop, the charade. But in essence, that is not on sale. That is why it is critical that you plan. It is critical that you know which items I need and you do your research on those, not just a research on the price in one shop. You need to compare prices. You need to compare shopping modalities. You need to look at where it can be sourced cheaper. You need to see if you can source it cheaper online or source it cheaper at another shop. Then in that case, that will be a sale for you. It won't just be a purchase. You would have made those bargains. And also know the items that you want to buy and keep a list on those and a price tracker on all of them. Again, then you will know if the item is actually on sale or not. Otherwise, it's not a sale for you if you haven't done that. You are just making a purchase, and that is why it then becomes you become more prone to those impulsive purchases because you don't necessarily know what's on bargain. All you are doing is bargain hunting, when in essence what you're buying may not necessarily be bargains, Mr. Newman.
Yeah, let's debunk these discounts because I think that is what you're essentially doing there. You know, often sales and what they call discounts seem too good to be true, right? Now, how can shoppers distinguish between what is called a genuine deal as well as a marketing gimmick? Because I want to understand, Sanele, that there are a lot of marketing gimmicks right now.
Yeah. So that's where research comes critical, Mr. Ngumalo. That's when you will know whether it's a genuine discount or it is not. And another thing that we never really tend to understand as shoppers is most of these shops are a chain. Ngumalo, they're a chain, you know, they're a chain. So you might find that, I just don't want to mention shops here, you might find that shop A, shop B, and shop C are actually part of the same chain. They're owned by one entity, right? So shop A might discount a different item compared to shop B, and shop B might discount a different item compared to shop C, and then mark up certain other items. So overall, the chain will be making money even when you have actually spent and thinking you're making discounts, but it's an issue of getting you into the shop. So we've got to figure that one out as well, and we've got to do the research, and more especially price tracking, Mr. Ngumalo. That's what will keep you safe from actually falling for gimmicks. Otherwise, if there are people who have figured out psychology and know the art of getting into your head, is the marketers. The marketers will know how to get into your head. And for example, marketers know that if I want you to buy something, they study the trends. They know that if I want you to buy something right now, I need to make it appealing to your kids. I don't know. They know that parents these days will do their level best to keep their kids happy. So that's what we need to be aware of. That's why I do advocate that shoppers make that tracking list, and they should do their homework before the Black Friday. And that's why I usually say keep your purchases to what you commonly buy every day, because you know when it is on sale and you know when it's not on sale, because it's an item that you buy daily. Or if you want to make those items, if you want to purchase those big items like say your TV set or your radio, so your new entertainment system or the PlayStation, know what it costs on general when it's off peak. You do your research when something is on peak, off peak, and just when it's those discounted seasons. And then once you do that, you will know that you are making a discount. And after doing that research, you also need to know how the shop is laid out, because the moment you come into a shop, it's either there is going to be loud music, there is just going to be something that is going to distract you, and you might actually even lose sight of what you came into the shop to do. So when you come into the shop, you need to do your pre-shopping, walk into the shop and see where the things that you want are, so that you can actually walk into the shop and go straight to what you want and then come out. That way, once you do that, the less time you spend within the shop, the less likely you are going to overspend. Because what shops do, which is yet another gimmick, Mr. Ngumalo, they will put an item that is ridiculously put on discount next to an item that is been priced higher. And usually this is what we'll call a complementary commodity, such that if you buy this discounted item, most likely you need to buy this other item which is not on discount right now, because these items are used jointly in consumption. You need both of them to enjoy that item. So you kind of need to know those things so that you don't get taken over by those compliments. So when you're doing your research, again, it is imperative that you also look at the complementary commodities, so that you know that this joint commodity that I am buying is indeed on discount, or I just need to wait for it to return and return to its normal size, to its normal price. And right now, another thing that we are not taking so much, which is actually happening, we've allowed and we give these retailers, through whatever online means, we do give them access to our preferences. So now they know what to sell to you and when to sell it to you.
Yeah.
And when you take your phone, for example, on any given time, do you notice how the ads that are usually targeted to you, Mr. Ngumalo, are usually the things that you have searched for online, or
Right.
things that you were talking to, all of those things. So we have given up a lot of our information, and the retailers know how to now even get us when we are not even in the shop. So you are enticed even when you are sitting at home. So that is why it is important to have this very much discipline to ensure that you are not swayed, you are not pushed to buy something just because you think it is a bargain. That is why it is important for us as consumers to make sure that we do our research, not just because something has popped up on my page that there is going to be a sale there and then there is a sale. Just make sure that you take your time. Otherwise, we have given up so much of our freedom. So it is important to do research and stay disciplined so that you don't overspend.
Yeah, I really like the idea of buying what you normally buy on a daily because it does not only inform the fact that you will know whether today it's cheaper or that it's not, but also speaks to, buying the basic need that you need every day today when it is cheaper, and you will, enjoy it as the days go by and it goes back to its normal price. Let's get into mindful spending. We know that many economists around the world always advocate for cash over credit cards during Black Friday shopping. Why is that? How does this change spending habits?
So basically, we advocate that people should do away with credit cards, Mr. Ngumalo. Only use it when you must, and use it responsibly, because the psychology of money, I'm going to make an example for you. Let's say we go there to a resort and we pay, let's say, 200 rands to come into the resort. And then we will do virtually anything we are allowed to get on any ride once we are within this theme park. Chances are, because you've paid upfront, you will get on every ride because you are not seeing the money, you are not spending money. But if you go to another resort, which has the same 4 rides, and they'll charge you 50 rands per ride or 50 malangeni per ride, you are most likely going to get on 1 or 2 of the ones where you pay, because as humans, we don't like paying. We feel there is that marginal, we call it the diminishing marginal utility of money as economists. So that means as you make your first payment and you look at your wallet, you still have money. You don't feel as bad as when you have to spend again. So it's more a psychological issue where we tend to be cautious when we see the money compared to when we are not seeing the money. It's just there on a credit card. You are just swiping it. You've not worked for it. You've not seen it. So you will spend more. But when you remember that you have to pay for this expenditure using your credit card, you have to pay back that loan because it's more like a loan. So that's why we then usually say when you're going to shop using your credit card, make sure that you have a strict budget and you stick to it. You do not overblow that credit card, because the more you blow it, the more interest you're going to pay on it, and the longer it's going to take for you to get out of that what's it called, that commitment. So it's more but basically a psychological issue, Mr. Ngumalo. We tend to be more cautious with money when we see it running out, when we see that my wallet is now getting empty. We tend to sit and rethink our decisions. Yet when we are spending a credit card, because a credit card, that's the bank's money, that's the financier's money, it's not your money. You will only start feeling it when you are paying for it.
Yeah. Sanile, thank you so much for your time this morning, and I'm sure a lot of Eswatini going into Black Friday from today will be making smarter decisions. There it is, we have learned about quite a lot, including new terms, diminishing marginal utility as a part of law within economy. Let us also heed to that as well as we go into Black Friday. Let's go for a break. We'll close the show shortly.
Be sure to catch Business Watch every Wednesday between 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., where we feature the latest updates on business news, market trends, and exclusive interviews with industry leaders, as well as insights on emerging small and medium enterprises in the commercial sector. Business Watch, your business leader.
Asekusele umzuzu munye ukuthi kubumbane insimbi esiphohlongo sesifike maphetheleni ihlelo lefu nomhla ekseni sibonga kakhulu ukuthi nibe nathi kusukela ngensimbi yesithupha sesivele siyanishiya sanibona sasa.
Ukumva kabukele mabona ukuthi it's International TV Day today.
Yeah.
Sole kahle.